Chosen one. There are moments in life when heaven goes silent before something life-changing enters your reality. Moments when God removes people, closes doors, breaks attachments, and leaves you standing alone in a season that feels confusing, painful, and empty. But what if the isolation was never punishment? What if God was clearing the noise because someone extraordinary is about to enter your life? Not just anyone, not another temporary connection, not another person who drains your spirit, not another soul sent to distract your destiny. No, this person carries something rare, something heaven protected, something the world secretly desires but cannot possess. And the terrifying part, out of everyone they could choose, out of all the attention surrounding them, out of all the people chasing their energy, they only want you. Chosen one, this connection is not ordinary. This is spiritual recognition. Because when two destined souls are aligned by God, the world cannot interfere. Jealousy cannot stop it, distance cannot delay it, and darkness cannot destroy it. You may not see them yet, but spiritually your paths are already moving toward each other. God has been preparing both of you in silence. That is why your spirit has felt restless lately. That is why your heart feels like something is coming. That is why you cannot fully connect with people around you anymore. Your soul knows before your eyes do. And tonight, you are going to understand why heaven kept separating you from people who could never carry your future. Stay until the end, chosen one, because one message in this video may confirm exactly what God has been trying to tell you in secret. Chosen one, before God sends the right person into your life, he often begins by removing the wrong ones. And most of the time that process feels painful, confusing, and deeply personal. You sit alone wondering why people changed, why certain friendships suddenly became cold, why relationships you fought so hard to save still collapsed in your hands. You questioned yourself, you blamed yourself, you stayed awake at night replaying conversations in your head, trying to understand why people who once claimed they loved you slowly became distant strangers. But chosen one, what if heaven was protecting you the entire time? What if those endings were not rejection, but divine separation? There are some people God will allow to walk beside you for a season, but never into your destiny. Because not everyone connected to you is a sign to your future. Some people were only lessons, some were warnings, some were mirrors showing you how much of yourself you were still giving away to people who never deserved your heart. You kept trying to hold on to connections that heaven was already removing. Deep down, your spirit felt it. You noticed the strange energy shifts, the forced conversations, the hidden jealousy, the lack of genuine support whenever you started growing spiritually. You felt lonely even, while surrounded by people, and that feeling was not random. Your soul was beginning to recognize what your emotions were still trying to deny. Chosen one, some people loved your light, but secretly hoped you would never become brighter than them. Some admired your kindness while quietly benefiting from your exhaustion. Others stayed close only because your presence healed wounds inside them, yet they never cared about healing yours. And God saw everything. He saw the silent disrespect, the hidden manipulation, the conversations behind your back, the motives nobody revealed openly, even the things you overlooked because your heart was too pure to imagine betrayal. Heaven noticed every detail. That is why certain people had to leave before your next season could begin. Because the person God is preparing for you cannot enter a crowded space filled with counterfeit energy. Divine connections require spiritual room to breathe, and sometimes God must empty your hands before he places something sacred inside them. You cried because you thought you were losing people, but spiritually, God was breaking chains. He was disconnecting you from environments that were draining your anointing. Some of those relationships were delaying your healing. Some were blocking your confidence. Some were distracting you from your purpose without you even realizing it. The enemy will often send counterfeits before the real blessing arrives. Why? Because confusion keeps many chosen ones trapped in cycles of emotional pain. The counterfeit looks close to love, sounds close to loyalty, feels close to destiny. But eventually the mask slips, and the truth reveals itself. That is why God allowed disappointment, not to destroy your faith, but to sharpen your discernment. Chosen one, your isolation was not punishment. It was preparation. Heaven pulled you away from noise because your spirit needed cleansing before divine alignment could happen. God needed you to stop depending on external validation. He needed you to discover who you were without constant attention, without temporary relationships, without emotional distractions. And in those lonely nights, something powerful happened inside you. You became stronger. You started hearing God more clearly. You started noticing red flags faster. You started protecting your peace differently. The version of you entering this next season is not the same person who tolerated emotional chaos before. Now your spirit craves depth, truth, authenticity, peace. And that transformation is exactly why the right person is finally getting closer. Because this next connection is not built on manipulation, trauma, or emotional games. It is built on spiritual recognition. The person coming into your life will not drain you trying to compete with your calling. They will not secretly resent your growth. They will not disappear whenever life becomes difficult. Instead, they will see you clearly. Not just your strengths, but your scars. Not just your smile, but your silent battles. And instead of being intimidated by your depth, they will feel drawn toward it. Chosen one, God had to remove people who only loved pieces of you because He is preparing someone who will honor your entire soul. That is why the separation had to happen first. Not everybody can go where God is taking you. And one day soon, when the right person finally enters your life, you will look back at every painful goodbye and realize something that changes. Everything forever. The doors that closed were never losses. They were protection. Chosen one, there is someone connected to your destiny who has already begun feeling your presence spiritually, even if your paths have not fully crossed yet. This is the kind of connection that cannot be explained through logic alone. It does not begin with appearances. It does not begin with status, attention, or superficial attraction. It begins in the spirit first. Before certain people physically meet, heaven allows their souls to recognize each other from a distance. And lately, something strange has been happening around you. You have felt unusually restless, more emotionally sensitive, more aware of certain signs, dreams, and sudden emotional shifts. At times, it feels like your spirit is anticipating something your mind cannot fully understand yet. That feeling is not random, chosen one. God often allows spiritual alignment to happen silently before manifestation arrives physically. While you have been trying to survive your own battles, someone else has been quietly sensing there is a missing piece in their life. They may not know your name yet. They may not fully understand why their heart suddenly feels pulled in a direction they cannot explain. But deep inside, their soul recognizes something is changing. And somehow, your energy keeps appearing in their spirit. Chosen one, this person is different from the people you encountered before. Most people looked at your surface, but this person will feel your depth. Others saw your kindness without understanding the pain behind it. Others enjoyed your light without realizing how much darkness you had to overcome just to keep shining. But this person will notice the details nobody else cared enough to see. They will notice the exhaustion hidden behind your strength, the sadness buried beneath your smile, the wisdom that came from surviving betrayal after betrayal. Because people who are spiritually aligned do not just see faces, they recognize souls. The world may admire this person for external reasons, but what they secretly crave cannot be found in attention, popularity, or temporary affection. They are tired of shallow conversations, tired of fake loyalty, tired of connections that feel empty even while surrounded by people, and that is why your spirit stands out to them. You carry peace they have been searching for without realizing it, not because you are perfect, not because your life is flawless, but because your soul has been refined through suffering. Chosen one, pain changed you in ways most people cannot comprehend. You became quieter, more observant, more careful with your energy. You stopped forcing connections. You stopped begging people to understand you. You learned how to sit alone with God when nobody else truly understood what your heart was carrying. And heaven used that isolation to shape something rare inside you. Now your presence carries depth. That is why this person feels drawn toward you spiritually. Even from a distance, your energy feels safe to them. In a world filled with performance and pretending, your spirit feels real. And realness is rare in this generation. The enemy knows what is approaching, which is why spiritual warfare intensified recently. Have you noticed how heavy things became all of a sudden? The overthinking, the emotional exhaustion, the temptation to isolate completely, the sudden fear that maybe love, peace, and genuine connection are not meant for you. Those thoughts were not arriving randomly. Hell attacks what heaven is preparing to release. The enemy understands that certain divine connections can completely transform a person's life. That is why so many chosen ones experience intense spiritual attacks before major alignments happen. Fear tries to convince you to close your heart. Pride tries to convince you that you do not need anyone. Past trauma tries to make you suspicious of every new connection. But God is trying to prepare your spirit, not harden it, because the person approaching your life will not arrive carrying confusion. Their energy will feel different immediately. Around them, your nervous system will finally feel calm. Conversations will flow naturally instead of feeling forced. You will not feel drained after speaking to them. You will not need to shrink yourself to keep them comfortable. Instead, something inside you will feel recognized. Chosen one, there are people you meet in life who trigger your wounds, but there are also rare souls sent by God who awaken your healing. This is that kind of connection, and what makes it even more powerful is that they are not searching for perfection. They are searching for truth. They do not need someone who pretends to have it all together. They want someone genuine, someone spiritually grounded, someone whose heart still carries light despite everything they survived. That is why they are being drawn toward you. Not everybody can recognize a chosen one. Some people only notice appearances, some only chase excitement, some only value what benefits them temporarily. But spiritually mature souls recognize different things. They recognize peace, purity, depth, presence. And when this person finally enters your life physically, it will feel less like meeting a stranger and more like remembering someone your soul already knew. Because long before your eyes see them, your spirits have already met. Chosen one, there is a reason God keeps telling you to stop comparing yourself to others. There is a reason your spirit becomes exhausted every time you question your worth based on what people choose, what people prefer, or who receives more attention than you. Because the connection heaven is preparing for you was never built on competition. It was built on divine selection. And what God selects cannot be replaced by imitation. Right now, there are people all around this person, people trying to impress them, people trying to gain their attention, people offering temporary affection, temporary excitement, temporary attraction. On the outside, it may look like this person has endless options. It may look like the world wants access to them. But what the world does not understand is this. Attention is not the same as alignment. Many people can be admired, but very few people feel like home to the soul. And chosen one, your spirit carries something this person cannot find anywhere else. That is why you must stop believing the lie that you are not enough. The enemy has spent years attacking your self-worth because insecurity blinds chosen ones from recognizing what God already declared valuable. You keep measuring yourself against appearances, popularity, status, and external things that heaven never prioritized. Meanwhile, God has been building something inside you that cannot be duplicated. Your compassion, your resilience, your loyalty, your spiritual depth, your ability to remain soft despite everything that tries to harden you. Those qualities are rare now. This world is full of people pretending to care, pretending to love, pretending to be genuine. But authentic souls are becoming harder to find. That is why this connection is different. The person coming toward you is not searching for perfection. They are searching for truth, and your spirit carries the truth they have been praying for privately. Chosen one, You have spent too much time feeling invisible because the wrong people failed to recognize your value. You allowed rejection to make you believe you were undesirable. You allowed abandonment to make you think something was wrong with you. But the issue was never your worth. The issue was access. Some people encountered your light without having the spiritual capacity to honor it. Not everybody deserves proximity to a chosen one. And now heaven is preparing someone whose soul is capable of seeing what others overlooked. The world may want this person for shallow reasons, may desire their appearance. Others may desire their success, energy, influence, or presence. But none of those things truly satisfy the soul. Eventually, superficial connections reveal their emptiness. Eventually, people grow tired of relationships built only on appearances, because the soul always craves something deeper. And that deeper thing is what your spirit carries naturally. This is why you must stop fearing competition. What God has assigned to you spiritually cannot be stolen by performance. No one can manipulate divine alignment permanently. No one can fake soul recognition forever. Temporary distractions may exist, but what is truly meant for you will always feel the pull back toward you. Do you realize how powerful that is? Even when delays happen, even when confusion happens, even when distance exists, God still knows how to bring two aligned souls together at the exact appointed moment. That is why you need patience in this season. The enemy wants you emotionally exhausted before your blessing arrives. He wants you settling for less because waiting feels uncomfortable. He wants you to doubt God because loneliness became heavy. But loneliness was never proof that God forgot you. Sometimes loneliness is evidence that heaven is separating you from what no longer matches your future. Chosen one, hear this carefully. You are not waiting because you are unwanted. You are waiting because divine things take preparation. The person coming into your life has also been through battles. They have experienced disappointment too. They have dealt with fake people too. They have cried over connections that looked promising but lacked spiritual depth. And through every heartbreak, God was shaping their discernment just as He was shaping yours. Both of you were being prepared separately so you could recognize each other clearly when the time finally comes. And when it happens, something inside both of you will instantly feel different. Not forced, not chaotic, not emotionally draining, peaceful. Because real alignment does not create confusion in the spirit. It creates clarity. You will no longer feel like you need to chase validation. You will not feel the need to compete with others for attention. Deep inside, your soul will recognize that what God is building does not require desperation. Chosen one, the world may chase this person endlessly, but their spirit is not searching for crowds. Their soul is searching for one thing: authenticity. And that is why they are being guided toward you. Not because you are the loudest, not because you are the most perfect, not because you impressed the world, but because your soul remained genuine in a generation full of masks. One day soon you will understand why every counterfeit connection failed. You will understand why God kept removing people who could not see your value. And in that moment, you will finally realize something your pain tried to make you forget. What is truly chosen by God can never be replaced by anyone else. Chosen one, the person God is sending into your life is not arriving to distract you from your purpose. They are arriving to awaken parts of you that pain tried to bury forever. This connection is deeper than emotion. It is spiritual restoration. Because after everything you survived, there are pieces of your heart that quietly stopped believing life could still feel safe. You learned how to survive disappointment. You learned how to function while emotionally exhausted. You learned how to smile while carrying silent battles nobody understood. But somewhere along the way, your spirit became tired. Not weak, just tired. Tired of giving your loyalty to people who betrayed you. Tired of pouring love into empty places, tired of being misunderstood by those who only saw your surface. And without realizing it, you started protecting yourself by becoming emotionally distant. You stopped expecting consistency. You stopped trusting easily. You convinced yourself that needing nobody was strength because depending on people had only brought pain before. But chosen one, isolation was never meant to become your permanent identity. God did not create your heart to live closed forever. And the person coming into your life is going to reveal just how deeply wounded you became in silence, not through judgment, not through pressure, but through peace. Because one of the most shocking things about genuine connection is how calm it feels after years of emotional chaos. You are used to confusion, mixed signals, uncertainty, inconsistency. You became so familiar with emotional instability that peace almost feels suspicious to you now. When someone is kind without manipulation, part of you wonders what their hidden motive is. When someone stays consistent, another part of you prepares for abandonment anyway. Trauma trained your nervous system to expect disappointment before joy. But God is about to challenge everything pain taught you. The connection entering your life will not force you to perform for love. You will not feel emotionally drained trying to earn their attention. You will not feel like you must shrink yourself to remain accepted. Around this person, your soul will slowly begin to exhale again. And that feeling will terrify you at first, because healing feels unfamiliar to people who spent years surviving. Chosen one, there are some wounds you do not even realize you carry until genuine love touches them. You became so strong that people started admiring your resilience without noticing how much pressure your spirit was under. Everyone praised your strength while ignoring the exhaustion behind it, and eventually you stopped showing your vulnerable side altogether. But this person will see beyond your mask. They will notice the sadness hidden in your silence, the fear hidden behind your independence, the loneliness hidden beneath your strength, and instead of running away from your depth, they will move closer with understanding. That is what makes this connection different. Most people only wanted the parts of you that benefited them. They loved your energy, your kindness, your support, your presence, but they rarely stopped to ask what your soul needed in return. This next person carries emotional maturity. They understand that real love is not about taking constantly. It is about covering each other with peace, patience, and spiritual safety. Chosen one, the enemy spent years convincing you that love always leads to pain, that vulnerability leads to betrayal, that opening your heart only ends in disappointment. But those lies were created to keep you emotionally locked away from the blessing God prepared for you. Because once this connection enters your life, something powerful will awaken inside you again. Hope, not shallow excitement, not temporary emotional highs, but deep hope. The kind that restores your faith in people again, the kind that reminds you God still answers prayers, the kind that heals places inside you that therapy, distractions, and isolation could never fully reach. This person will not complete you because only God can do that, but they will complement the healing God already started inside you. Their presence will confirm that your suffering was not meaningless. Every heartbreak taught discernment. Every disappointment strengthened your spirit. Every lonely season pushed you closer to God. And now heaven is preparing to reward your endurance with something real. Chosen one, do not sabotage this blessing when it arrives. Many people reject healthy love because toxicity became familiar to them. Chaos became normal. Emotional inconsistency became addictive. So when peace finally appears, they mistake it for boredom or weakness. Do not make that mistake. Peace is not weakness. Consistency is not weakness. Gentleness is not weakness. Those are fruits of emotional and spiritual maturity. And the person entering your life will carry those qualities naturally. For the first time in a long time, you will not feel alone while standing next to someone. Your spirit will finally feel understood without needing to explain every wound. Conversations will feel healing instead of draining. Silence will feel safe instead of awkward. And slowly, the version of you that pain tried to destroy will begin to return again. The joyful version, the soft version, the hopeful version. Because some people enter your life and awaken your trauma. The person God is sending, they will awaken your healing. Chosen one. There is a reason this person did not enter your life earlier. A reason heaven delayed the connection even while your heart was praying for companionship, understanding, and love. At times, you thought God had forgotten your desires completely. You watched other people enter relationships, build connections, and experience things you secretly prayed for in silence. Meanwhile, you remained in seasons of waiting that felt endless. But what you called delay, God called preparation. Because if this person had arrived before your transformation, you may have mishandled something sacred out of emotional immaturity, unresolved wounds, or spiritual confusion. Timing matters deeply in the kingdom of God. Heaven does not just prepare blessings. Heaven prepares people to carry those blessings correctly. And chosen one, the older version of you, was still healing from battles you had not fully faced yet. You were still attached to people who drained your spirit, still seeking validation from those who could never truly see your worth, still confusing attention with love, still ignoring red flags because loneliness made you tolerate things your soul knew were unhealthy. God saw that. So instead of immediately giving you what you wanted, he focused on transforming who you were becoming first. That is why your journey became painful, because growth often requires separation. Heaven had to pull you away from environments, relationships, habits, and mindsets that were no longer aligned with your future. Some seasons felt unbearably lonely because God was stripping away emotional dependencies. He was teaching you how to stand emotionally and spiritually on your own before attaching you to someone significant. Chosen one, there are some lessons that can only be learned in isolation. And during those nights when nobody checked on you, during those moments when your prayers felt unanswered, during those seasons where it felt like everyone disappeared, God was quietly rebuilding your identity. You started learning how to love yourself without outside approval. You started recognizing your value beyond people's opinions. You started protecting your peace instead of begging people to stay. That transformation was necessary, because the person entering your next season is not temporary. This connection carries spiritual weight, and spiritually significant connections require emotionally mature foundations. God could not allow you to enter this next chapter with the same mindset that tolerated confusion, inconsistency, and emotional manipulation before. You needed discernment. You needed healing. You needed wisdom. And most importantly, you needed to understand that another human being was never meant to replace God in your life. That lesson changed everything. There was a time when you searched for people to fill emptiness that only God could heal. You wanted someone to rescue you emotionally, someone to erase loneliness instantly, someone to become the center of your peace. But God allowed disappointment after disappointment because he refused to let your identity become dependent on unstable people. So he pulled you closer to him instead. And in that hidden season, your relationship with God deepened. Your prayers became more real. Your discernment became sharper. You stopped chasing people who lacked spiritual depth. You stopped forcing relationships that felt heavy in your spirit. Now your standards are different. Not because you became arrogant, but because your soul finally understands its worth. Chosen one, the person coming into your life was also being prepared during this entire process. While God was healing you, he was healing them too. While you were learning discernment, they were learning it too. While you were surviving heartbreak, disappointment, and isolation, heaven was shaping their spirit in ways you could not see. Both of you were being refined separately for the same future. That is why this connection will feel different when it finally appears. It will not feel rushed, forced, or chaotic. It will feel aligned, mature, grounded, peaceful, because God is not sending someone into your life to distract you from your purpose. He is sending someone capable of walking beside your purpose without competing against it, and that matters deeply. Some people enter your life only to consume your energy, but the person prepared for your next season will protect your peace, encourage your growth, and respect your calling. They will not feel threatened by your light. They will admire the God inside you because they carry spiritual depth themselves. Chosen one, hear this carefully. The waiting season was not wasted time. Every tear taught you something. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every lonely night strengthened your relationship with God. Every closed door redirected your path toward alignment. Even the heartbreaks had purpose, because now you can recognize the difference between temporary attention and genuine connection. Now you understand that real love does not manipulate, confuse, or constantly wound your spirit. Now you know what emotional peace feels like, and that wisdom will protect the blessing coming into your life. One day soon, this person will arrive, and suddenly your painful journey will begin making sense. You will realize God was never denying you love. He was protecting you from receiving it too early. He was making sure your soul was prepared to carry something real when it finally appeared. And when you finally meet this person, you will understand something that changes your heart forever. God saved them for the healed version of you. Chosen one, you are closer to this divine connection than you realize. The spiritual shift you have been feeling lately is not your imagination. Something is changing in the unseen realm. Doors are beginning to move. Timelines are aligning. And deep inside your spirit, there is a quiet awareness that your life is about to enter a completely different season. For a long time, it felt like nothing was happening. You kept praying, kept waiting, kept healing, kept surviving days that emotionally drained you. And there were moments when you almost gave up on the idea that genuine love, peace, and spiritual alignment could still exist for you. After everything you endured, part of your heart became afraid to hope again, because hoping again meant risking disappointment again. So you learned how to emotionally survive without expecting too much from anyone. You convinced yourself that being alone forever was easier than being hurt again. But chosen one, God did not bring you this far just to leave your soul empty. The loneliness you experienced was never meant to become your final destination. It was only a transition season. A sacred period where heaven separated you from confusion so clarity could finally enter your life. And now, after all the pruning, healing, and waiting, your spirit is finally becoming ready to receive what God prepared specifically for you. That is why things around you have started feeling strange lately. You may notice yourself pulling away from shallow conversations more than ever before. Things that once entertained you now feel empty. Certain people no longer resonate with your spirit. Even your desires are changing. You crave peace more than attention, authenticity more than appearances, depth more than excitement. That transformation is not accidental. It is preparation for alignment, because the person entering your life next will not connect with the old version of you. They are being sent to the spiritually awakened version of you, the healed version, the discerning version. The version of you that finally understands your value and no longer settles for emotional chaos disguised as love. Chosen one, this next connection will mark the end of a painful cycle in your life. No more constantly questioning where you stand with someone. No more begging for consistency. No more feeling emotionally unsafe in relationships. No more carrying entire connections by yourself while the other person gives the bare minimum. God is closing that chapter permanently. The connection approaching your life carries emotional clarity, and one of the first things you will notice is how naturally things unfold. You will not have to force conversations. You will not have to chase their attention. You will not feel anxious every time they become quiet. Instead, your spirit will feel calm, because real alignment does not produce constant fear. That peace will feel unfamiliar at first. You may even try to self-sabotage because pain conditioned you to expect instability. Sometimes chosen ones become so used to survival mode that healthy love feels suspicious. Your mind may question things that your spirit already recognizes as safe, but do not let old wounds destroy new blessings. The enemy wants you trapped in fear because fear blocks reception. Fear convinces you to run when God is finally sending what you prayed for. Fear whispers that history will repeat itself. Fear reminds you of betrayal, abandonment, and heartbreak. But this connection is not arriving to repeat your past. It is arriving to end it. Do you understand how powerful that is? God is not just sending you a person. He is sending confirmation. Confirmation that your prayers were heard. Confirmation that your suffering was not meaningless. Confirmation that your heart was worth protecting all along. Every counterfeit relationship taught you what real alignment is not. Every painful goodbye redirected you toward what actually belongs to you. Even the people who broke your heart unknowingly pushed you closer to divine timing. Because had those temporary people stayed, you may have never become the version of yourself capable of recognizing this blessing. Chosen one, there is someone entering your life who will admire your soul, not just your appearance. Someone who values your peace, your faith, your heart, and your presence. Someone who will not make you feel difficult to love simply because you carry depth. They will understand your silence, respect your boundaries, protect your vulnerability instead of exploiting it. And perhaps the most emotional part of all, they will choose you freely, not because they were forced, not because they had no other options, because something inside their spirit recognizes yours. The world may admire them, many people may desire access to them, but their soul will feel drawn toward you in a way they cannot explain logically. That is what happens when God writes a connection. It goes beyond appearances, beyond status, beyond temporary attraction. It reaches directly into the soul. So chosen one, stop mourning what left your life. Stop reopening doors God already closed. Stop questioning your worth because certain people failed to recognize your value. Those people were never your final destination. What is coming next carries heaven's fingerprints all over it. And one day, very soon, when this person finally stands in front of you, you will realize something that changes your life forever. God was never making you wait to punish you. He was making sure that when love finally arrived, it would be real. Chosen one, right now, somewhere in this world, there is a soul thinking about a person they have not fully met yet, a soul praying for clarity, a soul longing for peace, a soul tired of fake connections, and without realizing it, they are praying for you, not because you are perfect, not because you have everything figured out, not because your life is flawless, but because your spirit carries something heaven cannot duplicate. You survived things that should have destroyed you. You remained kind after betrayal. You stayed faithful after heartbreak. You kept believing while surrounded by darkness. That strength changed you. And now, God is preparing to reward your endurance. So stop chasing what keeps running from you. Stop grieving doors heaven intentionally closed. Stop doubting your value because of temporary loneliness. The right soul will not need convincing. They will recognize you. Chosen one, your season of forced isolation is ending. The connection coming into your life will remind you why every counterfeit had to disappear. And when it finally happens, you will realize God was protecting your heart the entire time. If this message spoke directly to your spirit, leave a comment saying, "What is meant for me will find me." And remember, some meetings are not accidents. Some people are sent by heaven itself.